All right, cool. So I'm here with Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie.
Hello.
Why don't you tell us what physical ailments you have right now? And you're recording, right? Okay. So Stephanie's going to record her own confession, and then from there she's going to watch it one time. But before we get started on that, what illnesses do you have right now?
I have asthma. I can't see when it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
I have heartburn. I have
Hips,
anxiety.
anxiety, hips, right?
Yeah, I don't have any hip mobility.
And when did that start? When did the hip mobility start?
After I had my stroke.
And you had a stroke 3 years ago?
December 30th, 2017.
Cool. And you had asthma since you were like 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how do we know each other, Stephanie?
AMC Stonebriar.
Yeah. So you work at a movie theater and I'm in there all the time, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And do you think any of your illness is going to go away by recording a confession right now? Honestly.
Well, honestly, I trust you, so yes.
Good.
You
This is
know?
going to be great. Okay. And if it were someone you didn't trust, you would think no, right?
Pretty much.
Great. Okay, so let's just go through a couple questions. What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I've sold and done drugs.
And what about the second worst thing you've ever done?
Probably lied or stole.
Uh-huh. What about your parents? Have you ever dishonored them or disrespected them?
Yes.
Yeah? More so your mom or your dad?
Probably my mom.
Mm-hmm. And have you ever killed anything? Killed anyone?
No.
No? You ever steal, you stole money or what'd you steal?
Honestly, I stole
We're only
my
telling the
own,
truth.
I stole my own stuff back.
You stole your own stuff back?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone stole it from you and then you
Yes.
stole it back?
Yes.
Got it. And what's the worst lie you've ever told?
I don't know. That I haven't been doing drugs or
Yeah.
selling drugs.
That makes sense. Have you ever worked every day of the week and not taken a break?
Yes.
Do you watch television?
Yes.
How about movies?
Yes.
We all do. We just saw a movie actually, right? I gotta admit that one. And then also social media? Facebook. Got it. What about you ever look at other people and maybe one person, maybe a woman or a man, and like kind of feel envious about things that they have or the way they look or anything like that?
Rarely, but yes.
Did you used to more?
Kind of, yeah.
What about you ever judge other people when you see them?
No.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Have you ever judged yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. And have you ever tried to harm yourself?
No.
No, that's good. Have you, let's see, you ever cheat on someone that you were romantically involved with?
Well, yes, but he cheated on me first.
Okay, and this is interesting. So when we admit, and I'm guilty of this too, when we're admitting something, always make sure you don't incriminate anyone else. So just own up to what you've done. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
yes.
So like a lawyer told me once, don't answer and leave an open-ended answer.
Yeah,
Don't
or more like,
answer to where they can ask more questions.
or more like, if you, let's say I robbed the bank with someone, I would just say I robbed the bank, not we robbed the bank. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to think of? Oh, have you ever doubted the existence of God?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
When both of my kids, my daughter and my son, were stillborn, I wondered if there was a God and why would they let this happen?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Let's see. What else? You ever do like any sort of like astrology or like tarot cards or Ouija boards or any kind of sorcery stuff like where you're trying to?
No.
No. You ever worry about the future?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you worry excessively about the future?
Kind of.
And then totally normal. And who knows the future? God.
Or
So
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette. Yeah, we were using Alanis Morissette from Dogma as an example. Okay. And if God knows the future and we're worried about the future, then that's us playing whose role?
gods.
And how many gods are there?
One.
So you don't have to worry about the future anymore, right? Okay,
Right.
cool. Let's see what else. You ever? You said you lied. Oh yeah, like have you ever cheat on anything? Like test or
Yes.
Yeah. Like what? Give me an example.
It was economics test.
Economics test. You get caught or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you did.
Yes.
Oh, that's tough. Okay. What's the what are some other really bad things that you've done? Like anything come to mind?
Not really. I mean, I only snuck out once.
That's great. That's great.
Just once.
Okay, and then we're gonna meet up on Sunday, like to go break another commandment and see a movie. And will you give us an update to tell us how you're feeling?
Yes.
And how often do you use your asthma inhaler?
A couple times a day.
Okay, cool. And do you take any medication?
Yes.
What medication do you take?
I take Plavix.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a blood thinner because I'm allergic to aspirin,
Mm-hmm.
and that's from my stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And I take heartburn medicine, prescription, and I take Lipitor.
Lipitor. Okay. Do you take those every day?
Yes.
Great. And then do you see a doctor regularly or?
I do have a PCP.
Really?
Yeah.
So like, do you typically go in to see the doctor once a month, once a quarter, like once a year? Just curious.
Once every 6 months, I have to go see my PCP, and I have to go see a neurologist.
Great. Let's
6
see.
months.
Anxiety. You ever have depression?
No.
No? That's good. And let me think if I'm missing anything. No, I think we're good. Okay, great. So we'll check in on Sunday and see how it turns out. All right?
Okay.
All right. So now I want you to just press stop on your camera, and I want you to watch. Did it record?
Yeah.
Good. Now I want you to watch it.
Okay. Right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Make sure you watch the whole thing, and I want you to think about your connection to God, and think about how you're seeing what God has seen your whole life.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. Are you ready to play it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just think about the existence of God and how what you're seeing right now is like you're seeing a view of yourself, of all the any bad stuff you've done, which actually isn't really that bad, but you're seeing what God has already seen or seen your whole life. Does that make sense?
Okay. It's not even that bad.
No, it's not bad. Make sure you watch it though. Make sure you keep your eyes on it. So when they watch the video, you step away and just let them kind of observe. And you'll see that afterward, they feel oddly better. The reason it works, it proves simulation theory, that something as simple as just admitting any sin against any of the 10 commandments, because God is adhering to those rules and using things in her body and in her surroundings to deliver as a response to her own actions to deliver, like, think of it like when she got asthma, it was God bumping her back bumping her, into line. Or like when she had a stroke, she was dealing drugs at that time, and then she had a stroke, and that's what turned her life around. It was God's way of bumping her back into line. Now, that shows an omniscient, because God knew everything that she was doing. Omnipotent, God could control things in her body and her surroundings, like when she went to jail. And then omnipresent, in that God can use any mechanism in her life to deliver, judgment. And the judgments God delivered were both righteous and true. Now, the thing is, why would she get asthma at 6 years old? And the answer is, based off the third commandment, that God can deliver iniquity, or, she's a jealous God, or, we say Alanis Morissette's God, or whatever, like, we're using, Alanis Morissette's isn't God, but we were using it as an analogy, from the movie Dogma. God can deliver, judgment to a child based off up to 4 generations of the child's parents. So every human being has 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and 16 great-great-grandparents. That's 30 people. And any of those 30 people, if they broke one of the commandments as judgment, remember, God can do anything, deliver any sort of judgment in any of those parents' lives. And her dad stepped out on her mom, he was unfaithful, he committed adultery, and at the same time she got asthma. Now, of course, they wouldn't connect that, because in our 2019, in the 21st century, that isn't how it's supposed to work, according to medical theory. But what this proves that when her asthma goes away and she doesn't have to use her inhaler 3 times a day, it proves that something as simple as admitting what she's done wrong on a video, acknowledging it by watching it, and finally I take this video and I put it online as a permanent record, and that permanent record is all the difference, because it broadcasts God's this system of delivering judgment based off iniquity, breaking commandments, of up to 4 generations of children, and that's why it's remained hidden for so long. It's a simple data play, and what we've done here, what we'll see on Sunday when she hasn't used her asthma, her inhaler, is we've proven the existence of God, because there's no biological reason that her asthma will go away based off creating a video. Even though, we're actually, humanity's been sniffing around this recently, in terms of there's a research department at Duke University that's looking for a connection between spirituality and physical health. But the only way we were going to figure this out is if the journey that someone took to discover it, i.e. my story of following coincidences and giving God full credit, because that's the only reason I figured this stuff out. I just kept moving forward on my journey. God wanted to have a cool fucking story to reintroduce himself into the 21st century. So that's it. 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments are all we need to know. It's a simple data play. So let's check in with her. You hook God up, God hooks you up. What do you think? It's tough to watch, easy to watch.
Well, it's kind of easy because I already know everything that I've done, so.
Great. Perfect.
I mean.
Okay. And then, so if you want to, and what I would recommend is treat that like the first entry in your journal. And anytime you catch yourself, even thinking, like even if you have a thought that breaks one of those, just the 10 commandments, that's it. I want you to make a new video, okay? And then watch it every time. If you ever get sick or even feel pain in your body, okay? I want you, and it may take a day or so for the hip thing to go away, but it's gonna go away. And be confident in that. Even if you're like, maybe, you leave tonight, and you can keep this conversation private. You don't have to go and talk to your mom or, you can, but what I'm saying is when you get around other people and if you explain what we did here today, they may try to put reasons in your mind where that's not how it's supposed to work. That's like the enemy. I'm not saying that they're bad people, but just until you go through this process yourself, you don't know its power, if that makes sense. So, anyway, how do you feel? Good. All right, well, we'll check in on Monday then, or Sunday. All right, cool. Thank you.